You're now watching Haunt Talk with your host Scott from Exploring Attractions and Rob from the Howling Hour, home for all things scary and spooky related.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Haunt Talk podcast. My name is Scott from Exploring Attractions.
And I am Rob of the Howling Hour.
And today we got a very special guest here. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the show, Kaine from Carnevil.
Hi guys. Thanks for having me.
What's going on, man? How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good today. Got up. I'm going to go see The Offspring. Life's good.
Nice.
Life's really good. Just got off of a very successful haunt season.
Yeah.
And a brand new one, I'll say that, for Carnevil. Completely different this year.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely a different vibe, and I think we were all very uncertain about where it was going to go. There were some people who were writing it off from the beginning, within our zone, who were just like, "Oh my gosh, I hate this. This is going to suck." And on paper, it very well could have. There's a lot of times where I was seeing some of the newer characters, and honestly, I love these people, but just being like, how is this going to be scary? This is going to be interesting.
Okay.
But we all kind of got together and were like, okay, cool, we've got these characters. We got to figure out how to make this scary and make it effective and make it where it's not just like gimmick city all over the place. And so and so everyone just kind of understood the assignment, in my opinion. Everyone was able to figure out dude, the fucking nerd clown, dude. How the hell do you make that one of the most scary people in the park? But she figured out this new way to just be aggressively positive, and it freaks people the fuck out. I swear, I saw this girl just run up to people and be like, "Hi!" and they'd be like, "What the?"
We interrupt this show because a big change has happened with our channel. We kicked off season 1, kind of testing the waters, getting our name out there, uploading the episodes to Exploring Attractions. And now it seems like over the haunt season, you guys have loved the show, so we have officially made it official, if that makes any sense.
It officially does make sense.
Officially official. Okay.
Yeah.
That the full episodes will now be on Haunt Talk YouTube channel, the one that you're watching right now. So please, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button. And Rob, they can also find us on Instagram.
They can. It's Haunt Talk. Yeah, it's simple.
And
very simple.
We're posting clips.
Oh, those clips are fire. You gotta, because make sure when you watch those clips on your phone, you have a extinguisher next to you, because the clips are fire.
And what else do we post on there?
We post pictures. We post movie reviews. Let's talk about these. Let's talk about these movie reviews, because those have been coming in. Especially, we just did one not too long ago, which was Heretic. Amazing. Both Scott and I saw it, and
except for, even though I told Rob in the beginning of this, we're gonna multi-use this.
Yes.
This could come out in 5 different episodes, and we'll be talking about Heretic.
Yeah. My bad, I forgot.
But that's why you should subscribe right now, because we keep it unscripted here and raw and authentic, and we are both idiots. Anyways, back to the show.
I'm more of the idiot, though.
Okay, well, anyways, up for debate. I think I am. Back to the show. I was to backtrack a little bit there, because before haunt season, the last guest that we had on was, of course, Taylor. It was AKA Tiptoe, which is your running partner. And she kind of put into perspective exactly what Carnevil is going to be this year. So it was very interesting to see her take, and then see it brought to life, because in a way it did really work this year. And if you look at years prior, where you just had a bunch of random clowns running all over the place, it's so interesting how there's a story of each character this year. But I kind of want to backtrack and ask you about your upbringing with haunt season at Knott's. How did you get started? Where did it all begin?
Well, for me, it began in 2017 when I visited Knott's for the first and only time that I would visit it before I ended up working there in 2021. I'd been to Berry Farm before, but I'd never been to Scary Farm. So I went with my dad and a few family friends, and when we went there, I remember walking around and being like, "Oh, this place is pretty rad." And I remember going to the hanging and being like, "Oh, this is funny." And then, but I distinctly remember sitting down in Carnevil for like a good 15, 20 minutes, like eating funnel cake and just watching clowns just absolutely wreck people. Like that was for me like what kind of started that love with that zone. Like and like I distinctly remember like there was a point where you had like I saw this girl just cowering against the fence by hang time, and four clowns were around her. And my ignorant ass was like, "Oh, they're helping her out. It's like, oh, it's okay." And I was like, "Oh no, that's not what they're doing." and then and then a fifth one came in and started joining in, and then she got up and ran all the way down the board. All five of them chased her.
Yes.
And I was like,
Yes.
this is great. Like, this is fantastic. So, like, I didn't, like, ever go again, like, for just whatever reason. But it was always kind of, excuse me, it's always kind of in my mind, like, man, let's get I want to do something like this. Like, and so, I worked at like a home haunt for like 4 years. That was a lot of fun. We got to like build the mazes and be in the maze.
Nice,
It
nice.
was a lot of fun for like the kids who went to like my school to be a part of that. And it was a big one too, because the guy who put it on, he was like a doctor and had a really big house. So he would just like deck out his entire like backyard and into this fucking massive maze. And it was really cool. And so,
Very cool.
and so that was kind of my start. And then in 2021, I did video auditions for the season because it was still COVID. And I just remember miking up my fucking garage with this thing right here, and and a video camera, and just recording for like a good few hours, like in my garage, just like I gotta get this right. I gotta make sure that I'm like showing them exactly what I can do. Like and so once it was done, submitted everything, and then a few weeks later they called me in and said, "Hey, you want to go to Carnevil?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Wow, that's cool. Very
It's awesome,
cool.
man. I want to. So we know that you came from a home haunt background and everything, and you're in it for a little bit, because I feel like some people just jump right to the big show and they don't have that time to like appreciate the real like small home haunt. So it's really awesome.
Yeah, I
that
went
you
back
got
to
do
it
that.
last year because they were doing it for the final time because the doctor is his all of his kids were about to like graduate, and so they were about to be empty nesters. So he was like, I don't really have any other reason to do this now. So this is the last year. So, and I told him, I was like, I'm coming back for that night then. Like, I'll figure it out. Like, so I ended up going back and making my own room and scaring in that maze for one of the nights, and that was so much fun.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I had a question. Just, I mean, it's kind of gonna backtrack a little bit. When you were talking about like the zone changes, and you're kind of like, I want to kind of dig into your mindset of like you saw how Carnival was, and we all loved it. Carnival's, and you talk about like how you sat in there, and I feel like that's something that all of us who frequent Not Scary Farmers, what we do is we sit there and we watch all you guys destroy all the guests coming by. But what was your mindset as far as like when they talked about the zone change, like, kind of we're gonna go this route, and I know, I'm like you had mentioned, maybe some people weren't on board, or and then they kind of got on board, or who knows if they were still like, oh, it's probably better the other way. But like, what was your mindset going into that? How did you kind of, were you okay? Like, were you like 100% like, all right, let's go, or did you have some reservations, or how did that work for you?
My mentality was this, that you were going to have like we were going to be given something that we have no control over, like
Okay.
and we can either be like, oh, it's not what we're used to, it's not what we like and stuff like that, or we can take it and be like, okay, let's see how we can work this with our own like our own personalities, our own like scare tactics, and like you know it, because we could have just taken stuff at face value and it would have sucked,
Right.
like
Right.
because we could have just been like, oh, okay, just bit all the time, and then it would have been like like there's nothing really scary about that. But if we can take that and work it into our own like understanding of things and our own understanding of like what we can do with this to make it like scary, then we can I mean, I said it like, and I believed it. I was like, I think that we have the opportunity to start something that we haven't seen since like 2013, when the zone like kind of like had its own little switch, like that impacted it for the next like 10 years. And then I think that I don't know if we did that. We'll have to see, but but I think that we definitely are at the start of something. I mean, at the end of the day, the main thing was just the costumes were different. Like that was the real main thing. I mean, the costume that I had on like was basically like just about what I had on last year. The only difference was instead of a regular shirt, it was a button up, and I had jeans on instead of the pants. So it was like,
I was gonna say your character was pretty much the same in the sense that like you really have it good in the sense of like you're in the clown zone, right? And you're a super tall guy who's just naturally intimidating if you're dressed in like a costume and monster makeup, but let alone a clown who also slides. So it's like it would be difficult for you not to be able to make that transition where you're able to do it regardless of what character they put you in, because of like your build and how terrifying you are and how like impactful you are with sliding too, which is really cool to see, because then that makes you like universal for all zones. Like, I mean, we'll talk about Ghost Town a little bit later, but you can kind of apply that anywhere.
Totally. Yeah. I think that I was just fortunate that I have a little bit of I mean, I went into the auditions and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna just show you guys what I can do again. Like, and like it like they kind of trusted me that like, and I think they trusted me for a while, because like I was kind of, there were a lot of times where it was like they were just giving people like roles. They were just like, you're gonna be this clown. And I think that from what I understand, I think I was one of the few people where they were just kind of willing to trust me and be like, okay, you seem to know what you're doing with this.
Okay.
Like, and so it's cool. Like, what were you last year? Oh, the contortionist. We can work with that. And so like, and I mean, I wasn't the only one, of course. A bunch of people pitched characters and had ideas for what they wanted to do. But I think that they were willing to trust me to like keep my character like relatively simple, like and not kind of like, and this is not a shade to the other clowns, but not to kind of like have like the gimmick kind of on my costume, you know, like how the nerd looks like the nerd, like or the punk clown looks like the punk clown. They were like, oh, you're the contortionist, you look kind of just like a regular dude. Okay, you seem to know what you're doing. Like, and I think I'm really appreciative of that, because I wouldn't have wanted to do them like any other way. Like I kept saying to myself, I'm like, okay, how do I make a contortionist costume? What do I want, a fucking unitard or something? I don't think that's gonna go well.
Yeah, that would have been great, man.
Yeah, that'll be great. HR is gonna love that. They're gonna love it so much they're gonna want to see it themselves.
They're gonna be like, all right, you know what? Never mind. We're never giving you creative freedom again.
Exactly, right? So
yeah, I think it's awesome though, because like you do have the roles that really did work, and then you have the people who you can kind of tell who kind of had their own creative freedom, and that all comes with trust and hard work, you know. And like you said, it's not a shade to the other characters. It's just when you prove yourself like that over the past couple of years, and places like Knott's and like Universal and Fright Fest and stuff, they put that trust in you. And it's kind of cool to see, you know.
They put a lot of trust even in the people who like were given the character. Like I bring it back to the nerd clown. Like she made that outfit. Like,
are you talking about Audrey Delulu?
Yep, Delulu.
Okay,
like
right on.
she had a certain amount of it that was given to her by management, but she like the look that she ended up having with like the pigtails and the little gap in the teeth and the glasses.
Yeah,
like that was her. And so which blew me away when I saw it, because I was like, oh my gosh, like this is fantastic. And I
think she's awesome. I go, I know her from she used to be in entertainment and SeaWorld, so like it's cool to see another San Diegan like up in the OC area.
Yeah, and there were a bunch of other clowns that were extremely creative. I mean, you look at Jen, like the ringleader, like
That
the
was
ringmaster.
awesome.
She made that costume too.
Yeah.
And so did like Hefty and Andrew and her entire posse. Like they were very creative with what they were like trying to do, and were able to create these really cool characters. And also came from, again, Knott's does a really good job at trusting their talent with, like, okay, like you have this idea, like as long as it fits these check boxes that we need for the
Right,
zone,
right.
like
Yeah.
go nuts, like we trust you. And that's really cool to see from an actor, because then I could be like, okay, I have this kind of vision of what I want to do, and I have an idea of how I want to do it, and you're letting me do that. That's really sick.
I think that's really cool too, is the fact that, like, because monsters make Scary Farm. There's
Right.
lots of people who bring Scary Farm to life, but truly the monsters are some of the most important aspects of Haunt. They bring it to life, and when you give people the creative freedom, most people who are wanting to do Haunt already have creative mindsets. So when you give people that creative freedom, not only does it build like a good morale around Not Scary Farm, but it also builds trust within a company that, like, hey, you know what? They're gonna take care of me, and they're gonna
Right.
allow me to do this.
Yeah, totally.
And just speaking of creativity, and Scott had mentioned this earlier, you're a very tall individual. So in real life, you're just very intimidating. But I gotta ask, just because I see Tiptoe and she's very short, she can kind of slither around crowds. How do you find ways to kind of like, and I've seen you move. You're very nimble, and I wish I was that athletic at any point in my life.
Yeah, Rob, that'll never happen.
Yeah, that never happened.
Wow.
Crushing my dreams all the time, Scott. Scott's the dream crusher.
Got to keep them humble.
Yeah, but how do you find creative ways? Because, like I said, you are tall. You can see you from a good distance. How do you get your scares? Like, how do you get people to not see you, where you can pop up on them, or what's that like for you?
So for me, when it comes to scaring, like the scares where I make people not see me, I'm just really fast. Like,
Okay,
it's,
yeah.
it's really like it's been to the point where I've like walked by someone who is like looking at their phone or something like that, and I'll be a good like, and even when they're looking at me and they know I'm there, I'm like a good like 5 feet away, and then all of a sudden I just like
Okay.
like really fast to the side, and that gets them like a lot. My favorite scares though are when they can't see me, because like my thing is, and this is how I've always been. Like, a lot of people are just like, oh, Boardwalk, you're scaring in the light, like they can see you, and I'm like, yeah, I want them to see me. Like, I want you to look me in the eyes and realize that I'm about to fuck you up. Like, that's been my
I want to see the fear.
yeah, like, dude, my favorite scare.
It's that plus 1,000 aura, man.
My favorite scare, and my favorite scares, and I'll say this a million times. My favorite scares are the ones where I'm just standing at the front of Boardwalk, and I see someone walk up, and they just look at me and go, "Nope," and they walk away. Like, literally, they were about to go into my zone, and they see me, and
That's
they're just
awesome.
like, "No, I'm gonna go to Goring."
It's like when they look down Fog Alley in Ghost Town, you just see a monster in the shadows. They're like, all right, well, not doing that.
Let's go this way.
Like, you know what? I'm gonna go the other way.
And I think that has a lot to say with not only you, but just all the clowns in there, because with Carnevil, it's in such a bright area, right? But it's still terrifying. Like,
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy
Yeah.
because the Carnevil cast is so large, and there's always tons of clowns out there. There's not a time where you walk through and there's like, oh, we're trying to find all these clowns. There's only like 2 out running around. No, there's always a bunch of people out there. So I think that's really cool. I wanted to ask you, and I'm not going to put you on the spot with your favorite, but I'll ask you, what do you think your top 3 characters for Carnevil were this year?
This year,
Yeah.
well, I got to talk about my boy Gavin.
Yeah, dude. He
Oh
was
yeah,
awesome,
dude,
man.
he was killing it, man.
Yeah.
He was killing it.
Yeah, that he like he fought for like figuring out this character for a while, because there was a lot of stuff like behind the scenes that they were trying to figure out, and he was really like trying to get this character in the way that he had kind of imagined this character, but also being a really good sport about like their vision too, because they wanted him to be like this icon character or whatever. And so but yeah, I like, me and him were talking about it for a while, and he was like, and we were like, dude, like you got to have this kind of like showmanship attitude, but also be fucking nuts. Like like and there's this like doodle that a friend of mine did of him where he's just looking like wild eyes, and he's like, and like got his tongue out and everything, and I'm like, yeah, that's right, yeah, that's the vibe. Like he's all over the place. Let's see here. The nerd clown, Audrey Lulu, she's fucking awesome. Like I've never seen someone take something that
the clips
should not have been
of
scary.
when you guys are messing around with her and the cape on, those are the funniest clips I have ever seen.
I was dying. Because I
don't know how you guys weren't like laughing on the floor. Like,
I was,
that was the funniest.
dude. I was. There's a video of me where I am, where she's running around with that fucking cape, and I am pissing myself laughing because you got to see this from my perspective. I'm in front of the planters, and I look behind the planters, and I see her poking out from behind the tree, just going,
yeah.
like that, and I am on the floor. I'm laughing so hard. There's a video of it too. It's hilarious.
There's so much that made Carnevil great, and that's just one of those moments.
And also favorite ballerina Tiptoe. Like, she's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, and she has a habit of starting a season off in a mask and then somehow working her way into makeup. Like it's happened the last 2 years, and I really hope it keeps happening.
I told her that too, and I was like, what? Like, I feel like this is just completely different every time I see you. Or like when she'll randomly have slider gear on, and I'm like, what are you like? You're just trying everything out, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, she had the apprenticeship this year, like Gavin, and so like I was her mentor, and so and I was Gavin's as well, and so Gavin would put his on like at the beginning of the he'd have his on even when he wasn't sliding. I was like, why? Part of me was like, why are you wearing those, dude? Like, I think it was just for the aesthetic. But he would, like, whenever he could slide and I was there, he'd be like, all right, I'm sliding. And then Tiptoe wanted to have her point shoes on for like the first chunk of the night, and then for the last half, she would slide. And then at a certain point, everyone got certified, and that was really cool because then
That's cool.
She ended up sliding out there on her steel toe point shoes, which was really awesome. I was like, do that more, dude.
Yeah.
That's funny. Okay, so I gotta ask, and this is gonna, this might be a big question or a big answer. What is when it's haunt season? Like, what is your day like? You're going, like, you wake up, you have haunt that night. What's a day like for you?
Okay.
Like, preparation, all that stuff.
So, I would say it usually involves me waking up between the times of 1 p.m. and 2 p.m.
Okay.
And I will lie in bed and watch weird YouTube videos and eat Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Nice.
And then I will just kind of stay there if I can. If I have to get up and do something, I will. But on average, I usually just stay there. And then I have an alarm set for 5:30, and that just says "Let's go." And then I shower, get my hair nice and wet, slather it with coconut oil. Pop my contacts in, get all my clothes on, and then I head out around 6:15. I get to work a good 30 minutes before I need to be there in order to park, and then I go in, I do the work, I come home at around 3 or 4 in the morning, and then I knock out for 10 hours.
Nice.
I can imagine like it's during haunt season. You could say it's kind of sad, but it's not because everyone enjoys what they're doing. It's like you work and then you sleep and then you go back to work.
There's a certain
but like
where
how much
like,
of it is work because you're loving what you do, you know?
So this year, I will say I agree with you on that because there wasn't a single night where I was just like I don't want to be here right now. Actually there was it was when after we did Broom Ball and I was up until like 6 or 7 in the morning, and then I that
Got
entire
no sleep.
day afterward I had no sleep, and I was so sore, and I was just like, I kind of want to go home. But like literally every other night, like I was just like, all right, let's go. Let's fucking rip shit. Like and I felt like I was on fire. Yeah, like it can blend very fast. Like there are certain days where it's like I don't feel like I've left this fucking break room, but like whatever. Let's go.
Are you guys like WWEing it up in there where you have just spray bottles on the back and you're dousing your hair with the water, or is it all coconut oil?
That's hilarious.
I've done that before where I've just had like where I've gone into the bathroom and I've just like put water in my hands and just grease up the hair like more, but
right.
I don't need to do that much with the coconut oil because it doesn't go out until you wash it out.
Yeah, I imagine because you guys, I mean, like all of you guys seem like you have like greasy hair to kind of add to the effect, especially the sliders. Like I know Gavin always had his hair slicked back, but it kind of adds to the effect.
He would slick his hair back and then he'd sweat, and so like the wet hair is not mix. Like
it's natural.
I don't know. I don't know if he actually put coconut oil in his hair or if he just got good. I don't know.
the perfect mix right there.
Seriously.
So, I'm not sure. I know they give you guys nights off and stuff. Did you get a chance to go through any of the mazes or any of the zones? And if you did, which ones did you like the most? I'm not telling you which one's your favorite or, put you on the spot.
I'll tell you which one's my favorite. I'm not shy.
All right, let's go. Let's hear it.
Okay, so I love Ghost Town. I think I love that place. And so many of my friends are there. So when I went through on my night off, I got to stick around in Ghost Town, and it was for me awesome to see like some people a lot of the new ones, the new people and new characters and stuff like that, and then old ones like my boy Death, who was back, and I was like, I spent a lot of time watching him and Merrick fuck people up at the front gate. That was fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then I mean, I got to see like all the zones in one way, shape, or form. I always will catch the procession, and I'll always catch the cider show and CS and stuff. And I got to hang out in Goring a little bit too, and that was fun. And for my mazes, I think let me see here. What mazes did I hit? I hit Slasher. I hit let's see here. Widows, Eight Fingers 9. What else? I almost said the Depths. I'm like, no, that's gone. Waxworks. Waxworks is my favorite maze. I went through that. I went through that shit twice because I was
crazy how good it's gotten over the past 2 years, and it's like it's always sad. I mean, same with like Bloodlines. Bloodlines got really good this year on its last year.
I wouldn't know. I hate Bloodlines.
Well, that's the thing. I'm the same way. And then I walked through this year, and I was like, why? Why did they make it good like the last year? It makes me so annoyed. I'm like, really? Come on.
Yeah.
It's like the same with Waxworks. The last 2 years, Waxworks was filled with actors, and I'm like, okay, but the first 3 years or whatever, it was not filled with actors.
I've always loved Waxworks. It's been my favorite maze forever, and I like ever since I started in the community in 21, I was like, this is the best maze in the park. And I just love the idea of it just being this fucked up art project that like
so creepy, man.
It's so unnerving, dude. I went through it like twice, and I like literally like remember getting emotional in like the final room like both times I went in because I was just like, shit, this is like it's gone. Like I'm actually just remembering this now. I had a dream last night that I I went to Knott's and bought like all the stuff from like Waxworks and had it like in bags like in my basement because I really, dude, there are parts of that maze that I really want. Like I legitimately want that that part of the maze where it's got that lady who like her arm like extends out and there's like candles all over it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I want that. Like I want that for my room. I want that.
I wish that they made, because I know that they do like small scale models of the different things.
No, I don't want the small one. I want the big one.
He wants the large one.
Okay, well you can have the big one, but I'm saying I wish for normal people who aren't psycho like you who want to keep in their basement. I wish that they.
No, I don't want to keep it in my basement. I want to put it in my living room.
or just right behind your setup there.
Yeah, right here. That's gonna be. I don't need a ceiling light. She's there.
Yeah.
And
Dude,
people come in, they're like, "What is that?" I'm like, "It's my wife."
Yeah. You have a random person who doesn't know haunt, and they're just like,
"Oh yeah,
what's going on?"
I won't explain it. I'll be like, "That's my wife."
Like, oh, don't worry, I just found this at a yard sale somewhere.
This is my wife.
Yeah, my wife. or that you can have the one at the very end, the giant one with all the faces and everything. Just chilling in the bathroom or something, you know?
Oh yeah, the thing.
Yeah, the thing, is that what it's called?
Well, that's what I call it because it looks like
the thing.
It
the
looks
thing
like,
of faces.
Yeah.
From the movie The Thing.
The Thing.
And you know what's even crazier is the freaking, like, we talk about all these props in there and everything, but like the B one too, like there's just so many different like props in there that are really like, I mean, the one in I forget what the room's called, but the one that spins, it's the one of the second rooms, and it has all the faces and everything. But that one, I'm just like, think of someone thinking about, like, Daniel Miller's like, yep, I want to make this really disgusting, and on top of that, I want to make it spin too. Like, that is insane, but it's what Scary Farm is all about.
I love this stuff, man. I love seeing the creativity and stuff like that. I love the two new mazes were pretty cool. I liked Widows more than Eight Fingers. But like Widows was a vibe. Like you go through it and you're just like, it's kind of like Pumpkin Eater. That's why I like Pumpkin Eater so much.
Yeah, it was. It did give those vibes a lot.
Yeah. Eight Fingers was cool. I wish that like the ending bit, like where you go into the woods, was like the last half of the maze. Because like for a while, it's like you're walking through like the cabins and the stuff like that, and you're like, okay, it does this for a while, and then you go out into the woods, and you're like, where was this part the whole time? This is sick.
And what's crazy too is that maze is so long, but I feel like it's a little bit too long for the cabins and stuff like that. Like I get the point of it, you know, like let's get into the actual like boogeyman stuff. You know, we don't need too much of a build up to that at the end.
I would agree. That was my main thing with the maze. I thought it was cool, but like I was trying to figure it out, like, so I was going through, and maybe I need to go through it more because I always just go through it once and try to figure it out. And I know there are some people who like go through like 5 times in one night just to like really take in like the story. And I'm just the kind of person, I'm like, okay, like show it to me like as it is, like
yeah.
I want to see this as a once through and get like my impression of what this is.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, it was cool. I thought it was cool, but I liked Widows more. I thought it was like that place is just so creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, old people. Or I mean, I'm not afraid of spiders, but old people.
I'm not afraid of spiders, but them old people.
Yeah, old people, man.
Yeah, dude, Rob, what are you saying, man?
Reminds me of my
I'll pet a black widow all day, but get Meemaw near me? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no.
Stay away from me.
Meemaw.
Yeah,
Which is funny because a lot of the actors who were playing, like, the old people were so young, too. It's, like, the funniest thing.
That was pretty funny. It's like, hello, darling. I'm like, you're 5.
Yeah. I'm like, wait a second. How are you up and moving around so easily?
I want to see Tay working as an old lady in there.
That would be hilarious.
Dude, when you guys were, like... When you guys were doing like because you guys got the opportunities and what kind of transition here to like switch up roles and stuff like that. But I went to Knott's one night by myself and I'm walking to Mesmer and freaking Taylor's in there and I'm like, what the, like I even told her I was like in the maze and like, what the hell are you doing? And she's like, I don't know, they just let me come in here. So I was like, all right, whatever. So I just had like a photo shoot with her inside of Mesmer real quick. It was the funniest thing. I was like, what in the world? And then I saw Vertigo in there at the end too. Dude, I was like, okay, well I came on a good night.
I stormed Mesmer one night. Cause I went there cause here like when mazes get understaffed, they usually ask like the scare actors if they're willing to volunteer their time for like an hour or so to like go in there. So like whatever maze you can like fit the aesthetic, like they'll let you do. So like I remember even like Death and Talon like went to Chilling Chambers one night. But like awesome. I got to go to Mesmer with Gavin, and they put him in the front room. But before they could assign me a room, I was like, I was there last year. I helped out like with this thing, so I know the maze. And they were like, you know the entire maze, and I was like, I know the entire maze. And they were like, all right, you can go through the entire maze. So I was like, so I so I would like be just running through the entire maze, like literally just going bam, bam, back and forth, like all throughout these entire rooms. And I think that like it was giving some of those scare actors whiplash because like all of a sudden I wouldn't be there anymore, and then I'd be in some other room, and then all of a sudden I'd be back like 5 minutes later, and they'd be like, "What the?" Like, but it was cool, and the cast there is super awesome. And they let me fuck around with all the cool stuff. The something or whatever, the vein, the lady with the glass shards in her face, she let me use her two-way mirror that you like hit the light on and you could bang on the mirror. And
that's cool.
That was really fun. And then I actually got to. I was so happy about this. I had to fight for this. I got to scare in the chainsaw room in Cinema Slasher.
Nice.
Yeah, I did see a clip of doing that. I think like it's terrifying. I think that's so funny. Like just seeing like you up there wielding the chainsaw.
I had to fight so hard for that because they were like, "Well, you don't really fit the aesthetic," and I was like, "Yeah, but chainsaw." Like,
but you're like, "Come on, a clown with a chainsaw? Come on!"
Like, I literally had to like beg. They were like, "Do you want to go in the chainsaw room?" I was like, "I really, 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 really want to go."
You're like, "Just give me 10 minutes, please."
I was like, just let me do it, please. And then like they let me do it one time, and then the funniest part was that they were so like understaffed all the time. They kept asking me to come back, and I just was like, unfortunately, it was in the last week, and I was like, I've got stuff I gotta do. Sorry, like I've got memories to be made on the streets for this last week, but I want to come back. Hopefully next year they'll let me do it again.
That's funny.
They should let me, because I'll just be like, hey, you let me do it last year. You know?
Yeah, like you're a professional at it, so I mean, why not?
I know how to work it. Come on, I can be trusted with chainsaws.
Okay, so I gotta ask, and I'm not like, I don't want you to reveal any secrets, but if you could go to a different zone, what zone would that be?
Well, I think I answered this question this year.
I feel like you kind of did. You kind of did. I want to hear it though. I want to hear it from your.
Yeah.
What? And okay, now to follow that question up, do you have like a character in mind that you'd want to be, or is it just like you just want to be there?
I feel like I answered that question this year.
But is that like your vision if you were to ever transfer to Ghost Town?
More or less. I mean, it's
okay.
That what I did that night was basically a beta test. Like I've been brainstorming that character for 3 years. Like it's like not as fleshed out as I would like it to be, but I only had like 3 days to put it together. So for what I was able to do, I was pretty proud of it. Like I made that jacket like the day of. Like
nice.
But that was like when I went to Ghost Town that one night. That was me being like, okay, like I want to test this character out and see how he works in this place, and I was very happy that so many people seemed to really click for what he was, and when I explained like what he was, like they were like, oh my gosh, I get it. All right, sick, let's roll with it. So like like people were bidding with me and doing stuff, and so many of the other of my fellow scare actors who a lot of them I look up to and are peers of mine, were really, really stoked on what I was doing, which was really awesome. And I had a bunch of my friends come through who like usually frequent like other zones and stuff like that because I was like, hey, I'm not gonna be there that night, so you might want to come around Ghost Town for a little bit. And,
Look for the dude with the glowing green out of his mouth.
and they're like, how do we know where you are? Trust me, you'll see me.
Dude, I think that's so cool that like a lot of you guys switched this year. I mean, you had Bronx who got to go back to Carnevil this year for one night.
I am so fucking pissed at that dude and Kimmy as well because they both did their cameo cards literally the same day I did.
You had to make an even switch, man.
I was like, dude, I can't wait to go scare with you guys. And they're like, about that. We're going back. I was like, anyway.
Dude, I think it's so cool. And I think that like your character, and it's a bummer because I was even trying to make it out that night. And I was like, crap, I can't make it work because I wanted to grab pictures of you. But like your character looks so freaking cool in Ghost Town. And I hope that's like in your future to try it out more or potentially like be there in the next couple years or so because it definitely did work and it
let's
provided
clarify this. I still have some more clown shit to do. Like,
okay.
I'm not done. Like a lot of people.
I guess you could say you have some more clowning around to do.
A lot of people asked me after I did that character, like, so you're gonna go to Ghost Town next year? I was like, no. and I had retired veterans come up to me and be like, so listen. If I come back next year, will you go to Ghost Town with me? And I just went, no.
They're thinking about business, man. They're like, this will be so good.
Yeah.
I'll say who it was. It was Trey. He came up to me and he was just like, if I go back to Ghost Town, will you come with me? I was like, no, come back to Carnevil. And I was like,
you're like, and then maybe we could talk in a couple years.
Like, how about this? Come back to Carnevil next year so that you can still slide, and then go to Ghost Town next year, and maybe I'll be there.
So like it's all part of a long-term plan.
Yeah, he's recruiting. That's what it is. He's recruiting.
Yeah.
He was trying so hard. Like he was like, listen, like what else do you have to do with this character? And I'm like, I'm having fun. Like I love this character. I'm having so much fun. But yeah, I love Trey. He's awesome.
There has to be a sense of like proud moment there though that you jumped into it so quick and you have so many people like rooting for you. You know?
Dude, straight up, dude. Hang on, one sec. I had people like coming up to me on like Thursday, like you know how we get those bracelets like all the time.
Yeah.
I had people coming up to me on Wednesday and Thursday of the next week with like bracelets of that character. Like,
that's cool.
And I was like they'd come up to me as I'm doing my ragdoll shit. I'm like, all right, I'm clown again, and they'd be like, here you go, and I was like, I'm not gonna cry.
Green.
Like they had like my character's name on it and everything, and they like were able to figure out like what I was and who I was and stuff like that. It was so cool, and like just a lot of people the biggest thing was like my fellow scare actors like so quickly being like, oh my gosh, dude, you like look awesome. Like I remember at one point one of my favorite parts. I was in the Kmart like photo place. And I walk and I'm there, and then Lyra, Jackie, walks in, and she just goes up to me and says, "Hey, so Axeman and I are going to be waiting for you out there, and we're gonna fight you." And I was like,
"That's awesome."
Cool. All right. I was like, I knew I was gonna fight both of them at one point in the night. I just didn't think it was gonna be both at the same time. So, but I was like, all right, this is gonna go well, I bet. So yeah, but like, and then like I remember, dude, like I mean, like even Jackie and Tamar both like came up to me like on the streets and were just like, "You look so good," and I was like, "Thanks." Like, I was so happy with how so many people like and guests too, like fucking Gary Spaz was like following me around for like 15 minutes just filming me and taking pictures, and I just see him, I'm doing my thing, and I just see him behind me with a big ass smile on his face, just like
geeking out.
Just geeking out, and he's just like, man, and like he talks to me after, he's like, man, you look so good, man. Yeah, I was following you
awesome.
for 15 minutes, and I was like, thanks, dude, you're awesome, I love you.
It makes me so happy for you and just for the community in this character scene, because a lot of people, you know, we talked about this with Taylor, like a lot of guests and everything, they don't realize like what goes into it and stuff like that, especially people who are just like, influencers or haunt fans in general, they don't realize, like, until you're in it or you've done something with it, you don't realize what goes into it. And the fact that, like, Rob and I see firsthand, like, the props that you guys get from legends and stuff like that, it's like such a nice feeling to see you guys get that recognition and everything.
Yeah,
so
totally,
like,
man.
a good job on you, man, because that's awesome to hear. Like, I mean, I have it's not on. Oh, it is kind of on, but in the background of my camera, I have I think it was like 2016 Sliders of Ghost Town movie poster, and like not a lot of people have no idea what that is.
Yeah.
But like it's death on the cover of it. It's so it's awesome to see just like everyone brought together and all the vets except the new age people as well.
Yeah. It's stuff like that that's like, I mean, gets people coming back or inspires people to do more stuff. Like it's really like the community has its like ups and downs and stuff like that, but like when it's like at its best is when everyone's like super supportive of new things and new ideas and like really encouraging to like to all the people, and it's what gets people coming back. Like I don't stay in Carnevil because like I like that area, like although the area is fun, but like, and when I went to Ghost Town, I was like, oh, this place is cool. It's just another streets and stuff like that.
Yeah,
right.
Like I love Carnevil because of the people in it. I love Ghost Town because of the people in it. And
absolutely,
and same with all the other scare zones. Like it's they have their own little unique vibe that they have, and it's very different. But like when it's at its most supportive, is like that's what gets people inspired, and that's what gets people like becoming the next big monster.
Well, I would even go as far as saying is not only do you inspire other people, like such as yourself, you were in a zone one day and you're like, oh man, I want to do this. Not only do you inspire other people to be in zones or mazes, but I would say this, you also inspire creators, like content creators, because it's like there are times where just like I want to go to get these guys doing their thing, because it's just, you guys are so iconic and so talented, and just everything you do, even from yourself, Ghost Town, Gauntlet, everywhere throughout Scary Farm, all of you guys inspire not just other characters, but inspire creators, photographers or videographers who are just like, I want to do more because these guys are doing such amazing things, and I want to find the best way to capture it. So you got to also props on that as well. So, and also thank yous for that too, because it's just like you guys also inspire us to be like, because there are times me and Scott are just like, oh yeah, I want to get a shot of this person, or I want to go there and get this zone, and it's just like, it's because like you're saying, the zones are the zones. It's a space, that you guys are there, but you guys make wherever zone you're in, you guys make that zone.
Yeah, totally, and it's awesome to see people get inspired. Like I freaking love the photographers that come through, like, and just pay for these season passes just to come take pictures of us being weird. Like it's hilarious. Like and but so awesome. Like I love seeing it, and other people get inspired to like draw like different.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
The artists who like sit in the zones and everything and do drawings, it's so cool to see that.
Right, yeah.
It's like, I wish I was that talented to do that stuff,
Dude, seriously,
like,
I've gotten
cool to see.
I got some cool art pieces this year that I plan to hang up, and there's this one that was a digital art piece that was done of me that I loved from RJ, who does a lot of like haunt doodles and stuff, and it was hilarious because like me and Tay were both on it, and she was like doing the little small thing, I'm just a little guy, and I was like towering above her, just looking like Slender Man or like the Crooked.
That's cool.
And it was just, the dichotomy was hilarious.
Yeah. I want to ask you about this before we wrap up here in a few minutes. With Taylor, obviously, you guys are an awesome running pair, and you've obviously made the switch to Mesmer, Slasher, Ghost Town, and stuff like that. But another switch that you did is you and her switched costumes. this year. And all right, whose idea was that?
Okay.
So I feel like that was a Taylor idea.
So we have been. This has been like 2 years in the making because last year, I had the idea that I think it would be really funny if we like switch costumes because the idea like I was just like, dude, I want to see you in like my outfit just all baggy and shit like that, and then me in your tiny ass ballerina outfit. The problem was that last year, the skirt that she had on were skirt overalls. So when I put them on and the overalls were like over my shoulders, the skirt like came up like above my waist, like and my abs. And I don't need to tell you why HR would have a problem with that.
I was gonna say it seems like HR wanted to talk to you a lot.
Yeah. So last year we switched masks because I had a mask and she had a mask at the beginning of the year. So I put on her old mask and she put on mine, and it looked so cursed. But yeah, and so that was cool. And then we were like, all right, next year we have to like figure this out. We have to like figure out how to make the switch. So what like we were thinking about it and planning it, and then at one point we were talking to like our zone manager, and we're like, okay, like can we do this? And she was like, I have no problem with it, but you're gonna have to get like upper management approval. And I was like, all right, fine. So we tried the costumes on backstage just to like show that we could do it, and then I showed it to like upper management, and at first they were like, no, like, and I was like, come on, no skin is showing, that isn't usually showing, like, it's
the skirt's not high this time.
Yeah, it's all good, like we can figure this out. And then they were like, fine, and so we went all out on this. We were like, dude, because we don't know if we're ever gonna be able to do something like this again. So we were like at first, and I kept having to be like, because she wanted to keep her hair in like the ponytail. I was like, no, you gotta let the hair down, dude. And she's like, no, like I did my hair, and I'm like, listen. When we look back on this, are you going to tell me that you were fine with half-assing this, or are you going to whole-ass this?
You got to go all out. You got to do the whole thing.
So like I put my hair, like she helped me style the hair, like how she did it. We put coconut oil in her hair. I put all of her costume on. Someone gave me clip-on earrings, and someone had black lipstick, and I put that little heart that she has on like her mouth, like on mine, and
that's awesome.
and then like, dude, the clowns backstage were dying. Like, it was so hilarious to watch everyone just like, oh my gosh, what are you guys doing? And we were just like,
that's funny.
Nothing. And then when we went out there, just because we told like a handful of people what we were doing, and then the other people we didn't tell them what we were doing. We just said, hey, at this time in Carnevil, you're gonna want to be there. And so we went out there and just started doing our bits and stuff like that, and it was hilarious, like us scaring for like a good while, and just like seeing each other just impersonate each other. It was hilarious watching her just be like, because she played me like some kind of dude bro. Like she was out there.
That's funny.
Like, and then I just played her just like, I just go up to people and be like, I'm just a little guy.
I'm so small.
And then I would the funniest part that I would break her was when I would scare people. I would slash at people with her axe, and then I would like do my impersonation of that little squeak that she does. So I just go, ah! And like, and she would just be like, and I would hear her just go, "You dumbass."
That's fun.
Dude,
that's hilarious.
Because I could tell, like, there was so much of it that I like had to like, I was like, come on, man, like do the whole thing. Like she originally just wanted to wear like her like regular pants. And I was like, no, I have jeans that I brought for you. She's like, they're too big. I'm like, that's the point.
Like it's got to be baggy. You got to fit the part.
I was like, you don't understand. The comedic part of me is being in your tiny ass outfit. The comedic part for you is you being so small in my big ass outfit. There's like this one hilarious picture of her just stance the fuck up in my outfit, but she's so small, so she looks like that. You know that meme of Keanu Reeves where they made him like really small?
Yeah.
She looks like that. And it's so good. We were so happy. Like we walked off stage after doing that, and we were like, dude, that's like the best thing that we've ever done. Like
yeah,
I don't think
that was incredible.
I don't think we can ever top that level of buffoonery. Like
you can look back at it and be like, wow, that we did that.
Dude, it was so good. It was so hilarious, and the amount
we had running around with Lulu's pencil at one point too.
So that was earlier on in the season. And that was an unplanned. It wasn't really a costume swap. It was just like I had her pencil, and this was started by Beggs, by the way, because he was there and he was pretending to be her, and then I was like, hang on, I'm gonna do that. So I pencil, and I was pretending to be her, and then we were like, yo, let's full send it. So she gave me her glasses. I actually some guests gave me hair ties, and I put my hair into the pigtails that she had, and I walked around pretending to be her. And then she took her pigtails out of her wig and pretended to be me. And we did that for like an hour. And it was the funniest thing because I would go up and scare people the way that she would. And it would get scares. And then she's just running around doing her hilarious impersonation of me, which is... dude, it was cracking me the fuck up, man. Because she would like... She'd like do the little crawl around on the ground, and then she'd like get into people's face and be like, Sarah Marshall. And I was like, you're making me sound like Batman, dude. So yeah, that was funny.
I think it's pretty freaking cool that you guys did that. I mean, you had fun with Carnevil this year overall.
Yep.
And the big reason why we wanted to bring you on is because, like, I mean, like I said, Taylor gave us the kind of breakdown of how it was going to be, and the fact that you guys like brought it to life so amazing, and like everybody there deserves their props for one way. I mean, I have a clip of, and I posted it on my story because it was so funny, but Aaron, the clown that gets down, I just catch him sitting there dancing by himself to the music, and it's just so funny that he's just there all alone, and then he'll randomly go and scare someone, and I was dying watching him do that to the freaking random dubstep music that'd be playing throughout the night.
I've said this a few times that like in retrospect of the season, like the season wasn't like really very like, oh, this like big thing is happening, like last year's the 50th, or like for me, like in my second year or my first year or anything like that, it didn't feel like I was like, this big thing's happening, like and like, oh, that was, you know, but this year was just so much fun. Like that was the vibe of it. It was like, I'm not feeling like there's anything like super big happening or anything super different or anything like that. This is just fun. Like I'm having so much fun out there. I'm feeling really accomplished in the stuff that I'm doing. I feel like I'm on my game. I feel like we're all on our game, and I feel like this is just, we're just going out there and having just an absolute ball. And so I feel like if nothing else, like it didn't need to be like super special. It didn't need to be super really anything, because we were all just having a blast.
That's awesome.
That's awesome, man.
Awesome.
And we're approaching the hour mark here, so we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Rob, go ahead with any last questions you have.
Yes. Okay, I got two for you. One is, what is your favorite scary icon? And not to follow up with that, but similar, 2, if you were a murderer, yes, picture yourself as a murderer.
If?
What would be if?
I was gonna say he is. Have you not heard about his basement
yes,
thing?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So as a murderer,
Okay.
what is your weapon of choice? So there you go.
Okay. Favorite scary icon. So this isn't my favorite scary movie, but my favorite scary icon will always be fucking Freddy Krueger. That dude,
Okay.
Yeah.
nuts. I love that guy so much. He was my first like cool scary movie serial killer who I was just like, this guy's cool. Like he like just the vibe, the aesthetic, and everything, and then his attitude and the entire thing is just so much fun. Like just the idea of that he's like playing with his food like while he's doing this crazy stuff, and just an amazing concept for a character like in general that like I'm surprised they haven't done more with him like in recent years apart from that remake that they did. Like I'm surprised they haven't tried to do something else, but you know, whatever. And so if I were a serial killer, weapon of choice. That's a tricky one.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you could go the. I think, man.
Let's just say that you have like astonishing powers, like someone like Michael Myers does.
I'd say like, I think I gotta go with the good old fashioned knife. Like,
okay,
there you go.
Because I think about it and I'm like, with a knife you can get in and out really fast. You can conceal it. There's not a whole lot of if you hang on to it, there's not a whole lot that can be traced. And there's a lot of stuff that you can do with it. And if it's a sharp enough and like a decent sized knife, kind of like the Michael Myers knife or something like that, you can do a lot of damage with that. And in a very short amount of time. And you don't have to be like, super like, because everyone tries like a sword or a chainsaw, and I'm like, dude, you gotta carry that around, and like you gotta swing it just right in order to get it. If you get a nice knife that's about a foot long,
you're good to go. Yeah.
Really
I
easy
mean,
with
you
that.
see freaking Leatherface, like, he doesn't run very quick with that chainsaw.
Nope.
Swinging that chainsaw around, man, it takes him forever.
Yeah,
and for context, everybody, we're talking about horror movies, not real life. I just
Horror movies.
Horror movies.
Yeah. I think we should check on Taylor at this point.
Nah, she's fine. She let me know.
Well, Kaine, we appreciate you coming on, man. This is a treat to hear from you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
Where can they find you on Instagram?
On Instagram, you can find me at the Kaine Rocks, and that's really the only place that I'm at. Stay tuned because I got some cool stuff happening. I know that for a lot of haunters who enjoy metal, we have this cool thing that I'm working with some people on called man, what was it? It was After the Fog.
Okay.
And that's going to be a fun little event that's coming up sometime next year. So y'all should keep an eye out for that. And then just keep an eye out. We got cool stuff happening. I like to do my toe in a lot of different things. So keep an eye out.
Stay tuned for that because we'll definitely report on that anytime it comes out, and you guys will hear it here first.
Oh yeah,
it seems like exciting stuff. But from myself, from Exploring Attractions, Rob from the Howling Hour, we really appreciate you guys, and Kaine, once again, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
We'll catch you guys in the next one, everybody. So, peace out. That's been Haunt Talk.